Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn and today this is the card that I'll be making. It's what I'm calling an Easel Light Up card. So just by standing the easel up, it completes the circuit and turns on the light. So this avoids two problems. One, having to push down a button continuously in order to enjoy, that lit up card experience. And second, I've always wondered, if you put a light up card in the mail and a bunch of mail gets stacked on top of it, is that enough to complete the circuit and drain the battery? And so with this design, you don't have to worry about that. And I think it's an easier sort of user experience where you can basically just continue to enjoy the light up experience until the battery dies. Because I feel like having to manually push the button, you're only going to do that so many times. Or at least I would. I think the novelty of it would eventually wear off. So basically I'm starting with a standard easel card. This is a top folding US A2 size card. So folded, this measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I have the folded edge on the top. And I'm creating my scene with just some simple solid color cardstock just to keep the design really quick and easy. I've die cut some clouds so I don't even have to ink up a cloudy background. And that way I can really focus my time and energy on the light up mechanism, because this is actually the first time I'm doing it. And so I was learning and discovering along the way and troubleshooting along the way as well. So I picked this image, which is Savannah the Sloth from the Artful Angel shop. And the stamp set is called S'more Wishes. There are actually 2 Savannah images in this stamp set, but I chose this one because she's kind of toasting her marshmallow by this cozy little fire, and I thought the fire would be a fantastic place to put a light. I'm using a light that's left over from my Chibitronics intro set. The nice thing about the Chibitronic lights is that they are super thin, so it doesn't add much bulk or dimension to your card, so that makes them really, really nice to work with. And so what I'm gonna do is, now that I've got my this front scene set, I am gonna trace out where that campfire is. That way I know where I need to place my light. And take note, if you do use your Chibitronics lights, there is in very, very small print which end is the positive end and which end is the negative end. And I do have to apologize in advance that there were times in the course of filming this that my camera died, or the battery died, or the memory card filled up, and I didn't notice and just kept on crafting. So I did lose some footage, but I'm gonna do my best to explain everything, even if I don't have footage for everything. And I will definitely be making this style of card again, so depending on when what my time availability is, it's actually quite possible I will have already created another card in this style and possibly have even already published it to my channel. So be on the lookout for that. If it's whenever it does go out, whether it already has or will in the future, I will link to it in this video, so you have a better sense for how to create this, especially now that I have all of the learnings from having done this once. Okay, now what you're looking at here is what will ultimately be the easel stopper that sits inside the card and will prevent that top panel from continuing to slide down and fold close. So what I'm going to do is create half of our light up circuit. Now on this panel, I'm only running the half that touches the negative polarity of the battery. Doesn't matter if it's negative or positive, it's just that it's only going to basically be the lead that will touch that side of the battery. And I'm going to run this copper tape, and the copper tape is conductive. Now, there are some things that I need to kind of research and or experiment to learn, but I do believe that the copper tape only conducts in one direction, basically in the direction that you kind of tape it down. I also believe it's only conductive on the top side and not conductive through the adhesive. I could be wrong in that. I haven't experimented to know for certain, and I need to go back and look at the product listing to see if they say specifically either of those points. So, bearing that in mind, you just want to make sure, because we are going to be sort of connecting two separate circuits. And so that's why you have to kind of bear in mind that you have to touch copper to copper in order for the electricity power from the battery to reach the light. What we're looking at here is the inside of the card. So eventually that easel stopper is going to get adhered to this panel, and the other side of the battery will touch this area here where I'm leading the copper tape. So if the other side was my negative end, this is going to touch my positive side of the battery. And I'm going to just extend this upward so that it goes past the top of the easel here. And I'm gonna need to make sure that my easel makes contact with that path. So this is where, this is what I mean by we're gonna have a lot of different contacts. So you can see I've added just a couple layers of foam, and that will touch the top of my easel. That extra thickness will make sure that it touches the bottom of the inside of my card. And this is where I lost a big chunk of footage, was making this circuit on the top or the front of my card. So this leads the positive and the negative end of our light to the bottom of the easel. And I made sure that the where those copper paths are, that they line up with the easel stopper that is on the inside of our card. So basically, that is going to be the connection point for completing this circuit. So you can see I'm dry running. I do a lot of dry running throughout this entire process. Now, bear in mind, I have 2 layers to my scene. So I need to, if this is going to be in front of what I've already placed down, this layer also needs to have the copper tape in order to complete the circuit when it touches the easel stopper. And so what I'm going to do is, one of the things that I found was that just as a general rule when you're doing this, is that in this particular design, wherever your battery is, wherever you have your copper tape, and multiple contacts where copper is touching copper or the copper tape is touching the battery, all of it needs to be a really snug, tight fit. It's a little bit different from when you're creating your standard light up card where your battery folder is. You want it to be a rather loose fit because you don't want it to always be on. You need a little bit of space so that it's only when somebody pushes down on that spot that they complete the circuit. That's not the same with this style of light up card. With this light up card, because I really wanted it to be super easy, where you can casually just, stand the easel up and it will complete the circuit and automatically light up your card. So everything needed to be a really super snug fit. And one of the things that I did, besides ensuring that all of my copper tape lines up and it's all, going in the same direction, because remember, my belief, and I don't know this to be 100% certain, but my belief is that this copper tape only conducts electricity in the direction of the path that you're laying it down. So that's one guiding principle, is to always have copper touching copper in the same direction. The second guiding principle is to always make sure that everything, wherever there's copper touching copper, copper touching battery, I need it to be super snug. And so what I ultimately end up doing is creating cardstock shims, basically. So what I mean by that is I just took heavyweight cardstock, folded it. I only needed to fold it the one time to have enough bulk. So I managed to kind of increase the thickness where these connection points are. And then I made sure that whatever adhesive was holding down the cardstock on either side of these copper leads, I made sure that that was thinner than the shim that I was kind of stacking up on onto that copper path. And that way it's sort of pinching down on the where the copper leads are, and it ensures that you have a really snug fit. And I did the same with the battery as well. So I made sure I've got this extra little piece of cardstock here with some copper tape around it, and that makes where the battery touches that copper lead at the top and the bottom, it makes it really snug, because adding those extra layers, just like here I'm adding some extra cardstock layers, it makes it thicker than the adhesive, in this case foam, that is holding everything, that panel down to the panel below it. And so that was really ultimately the key to making this work really smoothly. I had a backup plan too. If I needed, then I would actually add an extra little sort of stand, an extra sort of easel to tuck in, but I found I didn't really need to do that. With enough shims, it worked pretty well. It's pretty effortless, and I think it can be improved by maybe widening that area where I've got the copper tape. But for the most part, it actually worked out to be pretty easy. Now here, I had to create this extra little shim because on this one side here, I don't have enough of that copper exposed for the front of the card to make good contact with the bottom. So those were sort of my key learnings from doing this the one time, is you want to make sure that wherever you have connection points of copper touching copper, you want to make sure that it's a really snug fit, so that just casually leaning this easel up and standing it up will complete the circuit without the card recipient having to hold or push down or keep it in any one, fixed position. It'll just automatically stay lit. And if they don't want it to be lit anymore, they can always sort of take it out of that easel position. Now, the downside to this is that you do see those copper leads before you stand it up. So it detracts a little bit, but I think for the overall effect of when this, how this card is going to be displayed most of the time, that's an okay kind of trade-off in my eyes anyways. So I hope that you like this card. I know that I lost a lot of footage, so hopefully I explained it well enough. If I didn't, be sure to be on the lookout. If I haven't already released another video where I've made this same mechanic, then I will definitely do so in the future. Thanks so much for joining me today, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye!